Today we're going over how to simply troubleshoot if a circuit board or the blower motor module is bad if the fan motor is not turning on or it's not turning off. So to give you a quick tour of what's going on here, I stripped most of the wires off just to make this more simple. I'm going to turn the power off as I'm explaining this. And so we have our main power, 120 volts coming into the board. You have your common L2 neutral bar right here. And then you have your 120 volt supply wires here. And so you have a common and a hot coming in order to power the board with 120 volts. Then you also have a hot and a common here going to the transformer. And so that is supplying 24 volts over here to Sec 1 and Sec 2. And presently, over here at our thermostat wiring terminals, I have a wire connected to R, but it's not connected presently over to the G. Once we do connect that, our fan motor should turn on because that would signify that we're calling for our fan to turn on. If we were to connect R and Y, that should turn our fan motor on at a higher fan speed. And if we connect R to W, then that should turn heat on, which it's not going to turn the blower motor on right away. It's going to go through the sequence of operation for heat and try to prove the flame before it were to turn this on. Here is our 24 volt blower motor taps right here. So these are 24 volt taps. This is one right here is the common. And then these are individual speeds. So this one right here is heat, this one's cool, this one's fan, and these two are spare wires that are not used right now. And we also have our 120 volt wires going over and powering this board module right here. So we have 120 volts in, and then we also have our common coming in. And anytime we have a signal on one of these three wires, because these three are the ones that are connected to the motor taps on the board, anytime you have a 24 volt signal over here, the fan motor should turn on. Now to give you a for instance, we have our ground here on our 11 pin terminal. And so that is just making sure that we have a ground attached to the board. And these two wires are for your, say your flame rollout switch, which is right here, or a high temperature limit switch. And if one of these two were open instead of closed, so like this wire would go right into here and then it would come out here and then go into here, come out here and then come back over here on the 11 pin connector. I'm going to turn the power on, and so this jumper is signifying that that circuit is closed. But see what happens when we go ahead and open up this circuit. So you can hear and see that our fan motor is turning on because it thinks that maybe our high temperature limit switch is open, signifying that the heat exchanger is overheated. And so we can see that this is running right now. And now we put our jumper wire back in place, signifying that this is closed. So the thing is, this fan motor might be running and not turning off because you have a high temperature limit switch that is open. So that could be the issue, and maybe not the motor module being bad. So this is the motor module, this is the winding of the motor. And so when a motor like this fails, an ECM multi-speed or ECM constant torque motor, when they fail, they typically fail in the module down here, and it's typically due to maybe a power spike, like some problem with the electrical grid, or potentially a clogged filter, and so this is drawing too much current, trying to push air through the ductwork. There could be multiple reasons why this could fail, but the thing is we can diagnose that by measuring our 24 volt speed terminals right here. And so if we connect this right here over to G, you can see our fan motor turns on. And when it's disconnected, you can see that it's going to shut off. So right now it is disconnected. So we can have our fan motor turn on if we connect R to G, because what's going to happen is we're going to have a signal over to the fan motor telling it to turn on. And so right now that wire is connected. And so what I'm going to do is I'm now going to disconnect the wire, and you can see that the fan motor is going to turn off. So how do you tell if the fan motor is getting a signal to turn on? So the very first thing that you're going to do is you're going to check and make sure that it has the 120 volts needed for the motor module down here. Now if this is an air handler, it's going to have say 208, 230, or say 240 volts present. But you want to find which motor terminals These are over here, and up top here, you're going to see that this says BL-1. And so I'm going to measure between there and L2, and you can see, let's see here, we have 125 volts, so 124.4. So we are supplying 124 volts to this module right here, and that is not necessarily a powering of the module, that's just like a standby power, because the module is going to take that AC power and it's going to convert that into direct current pulses. It's going to basically turn this into a three-phase motor essentially, because this motor up here is wound like a three-phase motor, but it's going to do it all with direct current down here on the motor module. So we have 120 volts, so we're good there. Now we're going to measure over here, and the first terminal we're going to put our probe on is the common, and then we're going to put our other probe on the fan. And you can see that we don't measure any voltage right now. But let's go ahead and reconnect this to the G. And you can see now we're getting a signal for the fan motor to turn on. It's that 27 volts right there. But now we no longer have that signal. So we got 27 volts. It took a little bit for this relay to open up, but now you see we don't have 27 volts anymore. So when we connect this from R to G, when you have 24 volt signal on the G terminal, and that means anywhere from say 24 to 29.5 volts, anytime you have a signal on G, it's going to turn the fan motor on at its lowest fan setting. And so right now we disconnected it. You can still see we're measuring 27 volts, but it should, yep, open up. So these right here are little relays in these little black boxes. And so they're direct current relays that are going to allow 24 volt power to go from that G terminal over to, in this case, this red wire. So the red wire is the fan terminal right here. Now we're going to move our probe from here, and we're going to put it over on our cooling. So we're going to see if we're going to have any power on our cooling tap. And right now you see we're not measuring anything. So I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to connect it over here to the Y. And you can see now we have 27.4 volts. And if we remove that, you see that we're not losing power right yet. So there is a fan motor off delay for during, say, air conditioning mode. So after that compressor outside turns off, then what's going to happen is that blower motor is going to continue to run while it's blowing air across that, say, the wet indoor coil that's already low in temperature. So it might do that for, say, 30 seconds or 60 seconds or something like that. But I'm going to wait until this fan motor turns off, and then I'm going to show you on this particular board, which is a IFC. It's an integrated furnace control board. It's out of a gas furnace. There's actually a little J2 jumper, and we're going to go ahead and pull that, and that's going to be able to turn the cooling fan motor off as soon as it loses power to the Y terminal. So during air conditioning mode, the R touches both Y and G. Although, say, on a circuit board like this, you can see that it will turn the fan motor on if R just touches Y. So what we're doing is we're supplying 24 volts on the Y terminal right here. But once again, most thermostats are going to be sending to the board or to the air handler 24 volts on both the Y and the G. And so the G is the fan and the Y would be on the cooling fan speed. And so you can see that the fan motor has now shut off. See, we lost our 24 volt power over here, and the cooling in this case is the brown wire right here. So that's the third from the top. So now you see we don't have any power. So I'm going to turn the power off on this board, and then I'm going to pull this J2 jumper temporarily, and then I'm going to turn the power back on again. All right, now you see our status code light is solid. That means there's no errors, there's no problems right now. And then we're going to take this over to the Y terminal. And then we're going to take it off. So you see we're measuring 27 volts right now, but we're going to lose that 27 volts right away. So that gets rid of that blower off delay that is for air conditioning mode. Now normally we're going to leave this on on any type of air conditioning or heat pump system, because we definitely want that blower motor to continue to run even after the compressor turns off in air conditioning or heat pump mode. Now, we're not going to be able to get a signal between common and heat without going through the full sequence of operation for heating mode. And that's because that even if we touch R and W together, it's not going to turn the blower motor on. What's going to happen is it's going to power the inducer motor over here. It's going to allow 120 volts to go to the inducer motor, and then a pressure switch needs to close, and that will be a signal wire on one of these terminals over here. Then after that, the hot surface igniter is going to be powered by the board with 120 volts. Then over here on this sets of terminals, the gas valve is going to be powered, and then it's going to allow the gas to flow through. And then you're also going to have a flame rod signal being sent to the board, and then you're going to also receive a flame signal on this ground wire back to the board to tell it, hey, the heat exchanger is heating up, there is a flame present, and after the heat exchanger heats up, that's when this circuit board is going to turn this blower motor on. So it's going to take a little bit. So that's not going to happen here, so we're not going to troubleshoot that. I'm going to put this jumper back in. Okay, so now to the diagnosis. One thing I want to point out is you shouldn't be measuring voltage and doing those things when you have high current loads running, meaning like this blower motor, if it's just continuing to run, you don't really want to be putting your hands and probes in there, and you obviously are only going to hold on to the plastic part of the probes. But right now I just want to show measuring the voltage on the cooling tap going to the fan motor right here. And so I'm going to go ahead and apply power to the Y. And so you can see we now have 27 volts, but now the fan motor is not turning on, even though we have 27 volts. So if you measure 120 volts between your L2 and your L1 going to the fan motor, and then you measure 27 volts between, say, your common and whatever your speed is. So in this case, it's our cooling fan speed, but just say we measure between our common and our heat, and we have nothing. Our common and our fan, and we have nothing, but then we measure between our common and cooling, we have 27 volts. So if we have 27 volts of power going to the motor module on one of the speed taps, and we do have 120 volts going to the fan motor, then we know that this should be running. And so we know that either the motor module is bad, or possibly up here, which I'm going to turn the power off first, you could have that the bearings inside are bad, or you could have that maybe the squirrel cage inside the blower motor cabinet is kind of hung up, and so that could be the problem. But inevitably, this motor and motor module are just going to get replaced. We typically are not replacing just the module itself because of the cost. The cost of this motor module is very high compared to the motor module and the motor together. So we just replace both at the same time. And so if you have a 24 volt signal and you also have your high voltage signal, then you know that this module right here is bad if it's not running. Now what I have had happen is where I have a 27 volt signal on the blue, the brown, or the orange, and then we lose that signal, right? But the fan motor has turned on because it got a signal, and then once it lost a signal, it just kept running. And so if you do not have any 24 volt signal between any one of these wires and the common, and you do have your 120 volts and this thing does not shut off, then you know that the motor module is bad. And so, you know, you could have some safety open and an LED status code light flashing an error code, but in that case, the circuit board is still going to be sending a 24 volt signal through one of these wires to tell the fan motor to stay on. But in this case, if we measure with our multimeter and we do not read any 24 volts here on any one of these wires between that and common, and this blower motor module is still running, then you know that the module is bad. So I have had that happen as well. Now I've turned the power off, and just to make this a little simpler, what you could do is you could even remove the 24 volt signal wires from the circuit board. It's got to be real careful not to end up accidentally kind of pulling any of the terminals out of the circuit board. Now with your wires detached, you can set your probes in place, and it's very important that you don't short between, say, two of the terminals here when you're putting your probes in place. And so we can go ahead and touch our G. So we got 27 volts, and you see it dropped out. So we know that this circuit board is operating correctly right now because we're getting a 27 volt signal over on the fan, between the fan and the common. Now let's just check between here and cooling. So now you see 27 volts. And so you see, that's actually just me with the probes, 27 volts. So you're going to have that present between the common and the cooling. And so you can see we have a blower off delay occurring too. So this circuit board is operating correctly. And so after, say, 30 or 60 seconds, we're going to lose our 27 volt signal between the common and the cooling. So we know that this circuit board is actually working properly as far as when it's going to power this blower motor module. So sometimes troubleshooting is a lot easier when you can just take one of the two items that you're troubleshooting out of play. So in this case, you're actually being safer by disconnecting the fan motor, and you're just taking your voltage measurements on the board right here. So if you know that the board is operating correctly, when you send a 24 volt signal, maybe you have alligator clips over here, or maybe you just turn it on the thermostat, and you're measuring your 24 volt, basically your fan commands over here between common and cooling and common and fan. When you're measuring that and everything is working properly for your circuit board, then you know that your motor module is the one that has the problem. And so you just got to make sure that you definitely have your 120 volt signal, or on the air handler your 240 volt signal over here as well. And so you could also switch, like with the power off, you could switch some of these terminals right here on the end of the wires. You could switch one of the fan speeds just to see if maybe the programming on one of the 5 of these speeds is just not programmed right. And so if you have, say, your blue on for heat and your brown for cooling, and then your orange for your fan speed, you could always take maybe your yellow or your orange and put it on where the red was, and then power 24 volts on your G terminal by connecting the R and G, and see if the fan turns on. And so maybe you just lost the programming on this one wire. And so if you put this one on or this one on, you put it in that place, and the fan motor still doesn't turn on, you know the module is bad. So I hope this video has helped you understand how to troubleshoot if either a fan motor or a circuit board is the problem when either the fan motor doesn't turn on or doesn't shut off. And if you want to learn more about adjusting the fan speeds, make sure to check out the articles we have over at acservicetech.com. We also have our refrigerant charging and service procedures for air conditioning book, and our 1000-question workbook and quick reference cards. We also have our new inverter mini split operation and service procedures book. And so that book's available over at acservicetech.com and also on Amazon. Hope you enjoyed yourself. We'll see you next time at AC Service Tech channel.